Welcome to the Turbo Zone, everybody.
Turbo.
Today we have a very special video in store for all of you, lovely guys and gals.
And by the way, in case you were wondering, it's me, majority.
A jar of tea.
According to closed captioning, some might call him a jar of tea.
This feels very reminiscent. So about like a year ago, we did a video on this channel. It was like a little less, a little over a year ago. But we did last year. We did a video on this channel talking about the Genesis Mini whenever it was announced, and the Sega has just announced another tiny console.
History repeats itself, and I guess it's the same with Sega.
So here we are talking about it again.
The micro edition.
Sega has announced, which they've only announced for the Japanese audience right now, but I'm sure we'll also be getting it, hopefully. Sega has announced the Game Gear Micro.
Alex, you got a few words about the Game Gear in general?
I love the Game Gear. That was my first console. And I have a lot of fond memories of playing the Game Gear. I've always, even though the hardware itself was kind of crappy, I've always like held it close to my heart. And anytime I can get my hands on Game Gear games, or like on the 3DS, I bought a bunch of Game Gear games. Or like when I modded my PSP, I loaded it up with like every Game Gear game. So like any chance I can get to like play Game Gear, I always go back to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you know what my first Game Gear was? It was the
3DS?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But now I'm interested in all of the Game Gear games on the Sonic games on the GameCube.
Yeah. That's another good way to get into some of those old Game Gear games. Sega doesn't really re-release that stuff a whole lot.
I did like the price point on the 3DS. They were like $4 each, I think.
Yeah, they were dirt. Yeah, some were like $3. Like if you wanted like Mean Bean Machine on the Game Gear, like $3, man.
Yeah, I have that. It's like PC prices. Oh my gosh.
So they've announced the Game Gear Micro, and the first thing of note with this thing is that like it's fucking tiny.
People have called this a keychain. Do you agree?
It's so small. Yeah, no, I agree. It's super tiny. Like I get like the appeal of it, but at the same time, I think that's like almost shooting it in the foot, like right at the gate.
Okay, I would have been okay with this idea of it being micro, but they also made it proportionate in terms of the screen size.
Yeah. So it's gonna be. I don't think this is like something you just like play every day. It's not meant to be like your handheld console. This is like a novelty item, of course.
Yeah,
it's like how I kind of view it. It's like, it's like when you buy those little like arcade games at like Walmart that like are like this big, and like very tiny, like the size of your hand. And then, you could play Space Invaders on it, but it's like super tiny, It's like nobody is actually gonna sit there and play Space Invaders on that thing.
Do you buy those?
I have one. Damon got me one for Christmas one year. I actually did an unboxing on TurboZone for it, and it was cool. It's like the actual arcade game of Space Invaders. The little marquee even lit up and everything. It was a cool little little replica. But like, I don't sit there and play that thing. It's like a collector's item, It's something I kind of put on display. So that's kind of how I feel about these in a sense. I don't know. How do you feel about this thing? What's your thoughts going into it?
Well, I guess the lead up to this is that Sega announced big news, or some rumors were going around about big Sega news, and then it ended up being a small product. And I think that's hilarious, especially because this may not be the big news. There may be other news in store at the time of this recording. That's what I've heard, is that there's still more to come. But it's a commodity at the end of the day. It doesn't really feel like as big as the Genesis Mini when that was announced. When the Genesis Mini was announced, it was like, wow. And emulation's going to be handled by M2. Like, finally, they're going to put those Games fellas to shame.
Yeah, I mean, you and I did we did 2 videos on that thing. We did one on this channel, then we did one over in the Button Mappers after we got it. and I mean that was a big deal, I think
it still is too.
Yeah, the Genesis Mini is still awesome. I still love that thing. This feels like something else, in a sense. We can kind of go through, and do you want to kind of go through and like talk about the different units? Because there's 4 different ones.
Okay, I could do that. So, I'm on the Sega shop. All right, we're referring to Polygon right now, and I know the most credible source in gaming, and but no, they are a resource to use with gaming news. So, Sega announces the Game Gear Micro, the strangest retro minigame device yet. It comes in 4 colors with 4 games on each handheld. There's 4 models that release in store: a black one, a blue one, a yellow one, and a red one. And this is in Japan only for the time being. The black one comes pre-installed with Sonic the Hedgehog, Puyo Puyo 2, Outrun, and Royal Stone. Do you want to take this one at a time, or do you want me to go through all of it first?
We can go one at a time. And I do want to mention that since this is the Japanese versions, like the Genesis Mini, there's a high probability of these games getting changed for localization.
Right.
So so some of these might be replaced by some of the more popular ones here.
What do you think is here to stay and gonna go on this standard model?
All right, so the black one, which is the one that I am more up to buying just from the looks, because I have 2 black Game Gears already, so it looks like the Game Gears I own, like a tiny version. So Sonic the Hedgehog, that has to stay. That's like, I played that game whenever I was a kid on Game Gear, fantastic version of Sonic.
Agreed.
Puyo Puyo 2 I think is a good choice, because it's a fun puzzle game. They probably rebrand that one as Mean Bean Machine for us, but I could see that one staying. Outrun's a good choice, even though there was an Outrun for Game Gear exclusively. It was like Outrun Europe or whatever. Outrun's a good choice. Royal Stone, I've never played Royal Stone, and I don't know how big of an audience it has here, so that one might be switched out for something else.
Is that a Sega exclusive? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
Sega Japan exclusive.
Let me look it up.
Okay.
Because it might be. I've never played Royal Stone.
I can't say I have either. I've been to Cold Stone. Royal Stone. In the meantime, I'm going to go on to the blue model. So this one comes pre-installed with Sonic and Tails, Gunstar Heroes, Sylvan Tail, and Baku Baku Animal.
Oof. So Sonic and Tails over here is known as Sonic Chaos. And that one is also really good. Gunstar Heroes, fantastic version of that game. The last 2 I also have not played. I think those are bigger Japan titles.
Yeah, I'm looking at the footage right now. Sonic and Tails looks like a good successor to the original Sonic. What was the next one?
Okay, Royal Stone was a Japanese-only game.
Okay. Oh, I am looking at the footage for Gunstar Heroes. It does look like a really cool, chibi Gunstar Heroes game. Sylvan Tail is definitely Japanese. It looks like Wonder Boy meets Landstalker, or not isometric though. What's a game that's like considered the top-down Zelda of Sega?
Beyond Oasis.
Beyond Oasis, yeah. It looks like Wonder Boy and Beyond Oasis.
And Baku Baku Animal is a puzzle game. I know that one.
Yeah, that one looks forgettable.
I'm glad you mentioned Wonder Boy, because there actually is a Wonder Boy game on Game Gear that they could include.
Okay. What do you think would stay and would go of this version?
Sonic and Tails, which would be called Sonic Chaos. I think that one would stay and Gunstar would stay. I think the other 2 would change out. Like I said, maybe put the Wonder Boy game on here, and maybe put... they have a version of Streets of Rage 2 on Game Gear that's actually pretty solid, so that one might be a good one to put on there for the American audience.
Okay, that could be cool. Although Streets of Rage 2 by yourself would be like weird, no?
No, I mean, yeah, but it's the it's the Game Gear version. But I mean, I don't know what the popular Game Gear titles are over here. So because like that console is never as big as like the Game Boy or the or the Genesis or anything. So You never hear people be like, "Oh, this is the definitive Game Gear list." You know.
We can even go through those after we go through all these, like what the top Game Gear games are. In the meantime, I'm going to go to the yellow model. This one will definitely suit the SRPG fan because it comes complete with Shining Force Gaiden, Shining Force Gaiden 2, Shining Force Gaiden Final Conflict, and Nazo Puyo Arle no Ru.
God, that is a great lineup.
Yeah.
Of games.
You're the Shining Force fan here at Turbo Zone. Why don't you go ahead and talk to the audience about Shining
I haven't.
Force?
The only one of these I've played is 2, which I believe here was the sword of whatever it's called, Hygiga or something. That's the one I've played because it had a localization. But I would so be down to try these games. I love Shining Force. And then the last one is a Puyo Puyo RPG, which we've never seen that before. We've only seen the main puzzle games come over. So, yeah. So, I would also be down to try that one. So, this one, I would not want to change it. I think this one's good.
I think it appeals to a certain demographic because I'm looking at the footage. Each one of these Shining Force games looks identical. And I don't think that's necessarily a problem because, like, if you really like the Shining series or, like, you know, it's pretty reputable at this point, those classics, that would be cool to have all 3 in one Game Gear console.
I think realistically for the American audience, they would change this. Like, I'm pretty sure they are going to change this, and it's not going to have all 3 Shining Force games, but I would be happy with this unit. I mean, I might even just get the Japanese unit.
Yeah, that's fair. We're moving on to the last unit, which is the red one, which comes complete with Megami Tensei Gaiden Last Bible, Megami Tensei Gaiden Last Bible Special, the GG Shinobi, and a favorite, Columns.
What a fucking weird one this one was.
Yeah, what's up with Columns?
Okay, so you have 2 Atlas games, which are great. I'm sure they'll get changed for the localization and won't be there. But great for, you know, like a Megami Tensei fans. You know, this is a great way to play those early games. GG Shinobi. GG Shinobi is fantastic. I love that game so much. It's not the best one. That's Shinobi 3, but it's close. It's good.
It's no Columns 3.
Columns. And Columns is here, everybody.
Aside from that, I think this is the one that would be most suited to me. It looks really good as far as those Megami Tensei games. Like, I was watching, like, the dungeon crawling and even how, like, the animations are with the characters coming on screen.
It's a cool unit. Like I said, I don't think Columns fits.
Not at all.
Columns would have fit better on, like, take out Royal Stone and put it on the first one. I think that's like a classic Sega lineup, you know. Puyo Puyo, Sonic, Outrun, and Columns. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's very westernized.
Yeah, but like here, I don't know. And we should mention that if you pre-order all 4 units in Japan, you get a Wide Boy add-on, which is just a magnifying glass for the console.
It's like when you used to go to like the Jurassic Park themed roller coaster and you sat in the TV.
Well, that takes me back. I didn't have one for my Game Gear growing up, but I did have one of those type of magnifying glasses for my original Game Boy Advance. So it takes me back to like that era of like handheld gaming where you just buy this tacky crap and tack it onto your like handheld. It's like, oh, this is a magnifying glass, and here's a light, and here's a, you know, this is a rubber case, you know, and crap like that.
It might help to put a picture on screen for the viewers, but what I'm seeing is like it's almost like a mini CRT attached to the front of the thing. Is that, like, accurate?
I mean, no, that's accurate. That's how big the actual thing was for the Game Gear. The Game Gear had a bunch of interesting attachments. Like it had a TV tuner. You can watch TV on the Game Gear. You could technically like run something through that TV tuner and play out the Game Gear like a TV. So I mean, I'm sure somebody's done it, but I'm pretty sure you could hook up like a more modern console to the Game Gear if you really wanted to. And then there's a bunch of other. There's like battery packs. There's one that like, because the thing took like 6 batteries, which these minis are taking 2 AAAs. So there's a battery pack that like attached to your hip that like charged the Game Gear through the port, through like the charging port, which uses the same port as the Genesis Model 2. So that was a thing. There was a bunch of weird add-ons for the original Game Gear.
All right, very interesting.
So-
At least it would make this thing more functional, though, because in its current state, do you think this thing is functional at all?
The size is what's tripping me up.
I have the dimensions right here. It's 3.5 or 3.15 inches by 1.7.
That's so small.
That's like your thumb by like half your thumb.
Yeah, like, could you sit there and play a full game like that?
I don't know. Can you play anything like that?
Like, could they make like maybe they'll make it a little bigger for the American release or something?
You know what this unit looks perfect for?
Who's that?
Like Tamagotchi.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it does remind me of like a Tamagotchi, doesn't it? And that's probably like sort of the crowd they're going for, isn't it?
I guess. Are they trying to bring Tamagotchi back?
Well, I don't mean, it's on a virtual pet, but you know what I mean, like with the different colors and the size, like. I get the appeal in that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But as a Sega fan that grew up playing the Game Gear, my first console, I would like something that maybe represents the Game Gear a little better.
Hardware-wise, right?
Yeah, hardware-wise, maybe something that's actually a little more playable. Maybe something like the size of like a smartphone, or maybe like a little smaller than a smartphone. I think that would be good,
I'm also noticing it only has one speaker, like on one of its sides, and I don't know anything about a headphone jack.
They didn't say anything about headphone jack. I wonder. I think the volume button's still there, but I don't know if the contrast and brightness knob is gone. I think it is. That's something.
We should mention the price point.
Yeah.
This is approximately $50 per, and in order to get that add-on that makes the games, lookable, like that, or that you can actually see them, you need to pre-order all 4 of them. Basically, like making a commitment to buy 4 of these things.
Yeah,
and that's like $200, right?
That's a little much.
I think so.
I mean, the Genesis Mini came out at what? It was like 60.
Yeah, 7. I don't.
It was somewhere around.
I spent a decent amount of mine, but yeah.
Well, you imported yours too.
Yeah.
I think mine was like a little over 60.
Well, currently you'd have to import these. There's no guarantee that they're coming over.
Yeah, there's no guarantee we're getting them, so that's even the thing. But like, if we do get them, I think that price point's not going to fly.
Not at all.
I think a good price point for these things would be $30 at the most.
Maybe 40.
Maybe 40, yeah.
I would consider it for 40. For 50, I'm not really considering it.
Yeah.
Realistically, though, just why not get a Nomad in a couple Genesis games?
Or get an actual Game Gear.
Get a Game Gear.
Here's the thing about Game Gear is that the Game Gear, like here in America at least, they're dirt cheap and the games are dirt cheap. Like nobody wants them. It's not really a big collector's piece anymore. Like nobody cares about the Game Gear because it was like it was seen as a failed console here.
Mm-hmm. What do you see the Game Gear as?
I think it's a good handheld console. I think the hardware is its biggest flaw now. I have 2 Game Gears. Both of them are not working. The newest one I have worked. I bought it at the beginning of 2019, and it worked great. And then the capacitors for the screen went out. So that's definitely an issue with that like old hardware. That like if you buy a Game Gear, you might have to do some maintenance on the thing to keep it working. There are workarounds where you can buy other things that play Game Gear games, like I think the Retron does. But like in terms of the games themselves, they are super cheap. I have a bag. I have that bag that I got from. Remember that that Game Gear case that I got from Damon? I had that thing just full of Game Gear games that I bought for I bought a lot of them for like $50, just a ton of them. It was like, so it's like nobody wants them here. So I don't know if I'm kind of like on the fence, like if this thing will even come over or not.
I mean, it's so out there. I think if they did like that limited supply thing, it would be like they could finesse it where people would buy it. But what's the point? Like, this is such a weird collector's item. It's not very functional, as we've kind of seen. And in order to even make it functional, they have to bring something over and make it accessible. I don't like the idea of like these limited products. I mean, it's precisely the reason I wasn't lining up day one to get like NES minis or SNES minis, because I knew like that it would just be a hassle to get it. But even those are like far more accessible, not even now, but just even for gaming. If they could bring back the Game Gear in a way that you saw fit, how would you want them to do it?
I would want them to make something, like I said, like probably the size of like a smartphone. No bigger than a smartphone, and so it has a decent sized screen and buttons. And I would want them to include at least like 30 games, 20 or 30 games. I think that would be the best way to capture an American audience.
Okay, I kind of like the thing that they're going for. They're doing like that, like the Pokemon thing where it's like release a red and a blue version or whatever. Except you actually get different games and like different consoles. But they have to fix the screen size or like just the unit size. Everything about this is not suitable to gamers. And the only people I know buying Sega stuff are gamers.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like this is going to be one of those things that like collectors and Sega fans will be like, "Oh, cool, yeah." But then like I'm probably going to go to Walmart and see it on the shelf for years, just sitting there.
And this will probably, if it is one of those things, it's going to drop down. It's going to get a price.
Yeah. It's going to be like $20 like a few months later or something.
Which realistically is probably how much this should go for.
Realistically, yes. I mean, $20 is probably a good point. I don't know. I'm so torn because I want them, because like it's so cool that they're doing something with Game Gear, and I want Sega to embrace that side. Like I want them to stop just feeding us more Genesis, like give us some Game Gear, give us some Saturn, give us these other consoles that they don't really talk about as much. But at the same time, like I don't think this is the way to do this console.
No, they did it dirty. They did it dirty, but at least it doesn't require 6 batteries.
At least, yeah, you can just use 2 AAAs. So.
And I'm confirming here it does have a headphone jack.
Okay, good.
And you power it up. You can also power it with a USB micro cable.
I don't know. I'm probably still gonna end up getting one of these things. At least one of them.
And what's your pick? Is the Shining Force one?
I guess it all depends on if they get localized or not. I do want the Shining Force one, but I don't know if I can play it in Japanese, especially that's small.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
That one is really cool though. So maybe the black one, if not anything else. That one also might be a good pick for me.
Yeah, I think that's a safe pick.
I mean, the blue one's cool, but like I only care about 2 of the games on that one. And then there's no way in hell I'm gonna be able to play Megami Tensei Gaiden, either one of those, and Japanese, and then I don't care about columns.
Alex, how could you say that?
How could I say that
How
about
could you not
columns?
care?
My Lord and Savior, columns.
Express your true feelings. What if they made the GG columns featuring Shinobi?
Oh yeah, there we go.
Then it would be worth it.
I don't know. I'm so torn on these things, man. And it's funny because I was listening back because I knew we were going to do this today. So I was listening back to our Genesis Mini reveal thing, and we were like, I don't know about this thing. It looks kind of dumb. Like, what's the point? And then we ended up loving that thing.
Mm-hmm. But do you think we'll say the same for this?
I don't know. I don't think so, but we've been proven wrong. That Genesis Mini is awesome.
What would it take to make you pleased with this?
Okay, so if they localize it, a better price point, and a better library of games. At least rearrange the library a little bit. That's all. That's I mean, honestly, like I could probably live with the size if I wasn't paying $50. So. Well, what about you?
Just do it better. Just do it bigger, do it better. There's no excuse. If they actually wanted to make a console and not troll everybody like this, like they would actually made it decent size. Because this is such a good premise. Like, 4 different Game Gears, 4 games on each. Why not just make it like, look like the Switch? You're not like saying like make it Switch-like, but like make it compete with like, or at least the mini consoles, right? It's the first mini handheld. That's so cool. But they made this gimped version. So, I mean, even from a collector's standpoint, what's the point? I don't see it.
Yeah, it's like I said towards the beginning, it's a novelty item. It's definitely a novelty item.
I just hope that they were hyping up something better than this.
Yeah.
If I don't understand what the hype was, like, because people just took the rumor and just made it a big thing, but this is not a big thing.
It's so funny because this was announced and all the outlets I've seen kind of covering it are like, cool. Yeah, neat. Like no one's like, oh hell yeah, Game Gear. They're all like, oh neat, cool, it's kind of neat.
They're like, yes, another way to play columns.
Yes, columns in my pocket.
Yes, pocket columns.
Pocket columns.
Perfect. I just got done with the long demon battle in Megami Tensei. I'm gonna go cool off with some columns.
Maybe that's why they put that in there.
Have you ever cooled off with columns?
That yellow one is still a good price point. Would you feel different if these had like a way to them up to a TV or something?
Yeah. But what? So you're gonna play it on the mini unit hooked up to a TV? That would be interesting. What if the big news was that this USB micro cable plugged into some other mini console or whatever that they were gonna make?
I say, what if this was like there was some other way to use it? Like I'd probably buy all of them.
That would be cool.
Well, yeah, that'd be.
What if you could actually play Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles on Switch with these 4
Game Gears?
Local.
There you go. That's so funny.
Perfect.
Oh, God. Man, I just, I have a lot of fondness for this console. I know it's, like I said, it's not the most perfect console. It's seen as a failure here, but like I said, it was like, this is the console responsible for me becoming a Sega fan, or just becoming a fan of gaming, So like, to see it kind of done like this, and like, I don't know, it gives me mixed feelings because I like the fact that they're representing the thing in some fashion, but it feels kind of like. Do you remember whenever SNK brought out that little mini Neo Geo and people were like, "Oh, this thing sucks."
I don't.
Like, it kind of feels. Oh well, it sucked.
Yeah, I can see that.
Kind of worry. It worries me that it's going to be like that again, where it's just like, oh, it doesn't really represent the console.
Who knows? Maybe they have a trick up their sleeve.
Yeah, like I said, we don't even know if we're getting this thing or if we're getting it in the same format. So it could be totally different for the US. We could get an announcement for the US version tomorrow, and we would literally could be like, oh my god, this thing looks amazing.
I am interested in that idea of playing on the TV. So maybe there is some, mechanism that they plan to roll out. I don't know. What do you think the big Sega news is, if you don't mind going into prediction territory?
Oh, if it's not this, I don't know. I have no earthly idea because I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, it's a new console, because I don't think it's ever going to be a new console. I think if anything, it'll end up being like a Sega retro service or something. Like, you can play all the retro classic Sega games in this thing or something. What do you think?
I want to believe in that idea. If there is big Sega news, I think maybe it's another Sonic game.
Well, we already know that's coming.
Do we? When?
Yeah, they've said that they're working on it, but they're taking their time.
2D, 3D? Do we know?
The next mainline Sonic game. So that's, I'm guessing 3D. So maybe the big news could be another Mania game. I don't know.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Mania 2.
I would lose my shit if they were announcing Mania 2 tomorrow.
Wait a sec. If they did Mania 2, what would that look like? Would it be another like throwback game?
I don't think they should. They wouldn't call it Mania 2. They call it like Sonic something. I don't know. Sonic. I don't know. I can't think of a
Peanut butter.
subtitle. No, that's not. That's not.
Sonic Jam and Sonic Peanut Butter.
That's not a good subtitle. But they would call it something.
Wait,
like
Sonic Bang.
Yeah, Sonic Bang, and then like
they went out with Sonic Boom, and now they're about to go out with Sonic Bang.
It's a new it's a new retro style game with all original levels or something.
Sonic Cheeseburger.
Sonic
Delicious.
5. Sonic Adventure
Sonic
7.
5. Episode 3.
No.
Sonic
So,
4
yeah.
Episode 3?
Sonic 4 Episode 3. Yeah, that's the next announcement. Jesus Christ.
The long-awaited sequel.
No. Why?
That's big news, all right. For the wrong reasons.
So, I don't know. You have anything else you want to say about the Game Gear Micro?
No, I don't.
No.
Do you?
I think we voiced our opinions. There you have
Yeah,
it,
no, if I
world.
buy it, it's going to be like debating whether or not I should have bought it.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those things that like, oh, like I have to have like just like some extra money in my pocket or something. Be like, oh yeah, whatever. I can't just be like, I'm saving money aside for the Game Gear Micro. Like,
Can't wait to put my pre-orders
wait.
down.
if you're watching this and you want to play some Game Gear games, just buy an actual Game Gear. They're not hard to find.
Or even just experience it these, other ways that are available.
Yeah.
Like I have access to most of them just through the Sonic games on the game.
Yeah, the Sonic. Well, they're on the GameCube. They're also on the PS2 with the Mega Collection Plus. Also on Sonic Adventure DX, there's some Game Gear games. You can also download games on your 3DS, which is a good way to do it. You can also put the ROMs on other devices if you want to be a dirty pirate.
Do you think Spencer would do
Spencer
that?
doesn't want to play these games.
Would he play Sonic?
Spencer doesn't want to play.
On
Spencer
the
doesn't want to play
pirate?
Game Gear. I will say though, like I put every Game Gear game released on my PSP, and it was a very small file. So that's a good option. You think Spencer's gonna play the
All right. Well, if you've got the gear, then you got the game.
Gear?
The Game
Meet
Gear.
me next time where I'm gonna do a review of my 2 broken Game Gears.
And put his Game Gear Micros on top of it.
Why is Sonic
four of
Rush
them.
on any? Not Sonic Rush. Sonic Drift. Sorry. Sonic Rush on the DS. Why is Sonic Drift not on any of these units? That's my question. Sonic Drift 2. That game's legit. I have that game.
If you could have any Sonic character as a pet, who would it be, and why would it be Chow?
Ooh, as a pet? Well, I mean, you can already do that in Adventure and Adventure 2, though. With the Chow Garden, you can take care of chows.
Tell him, Alex.
Do it. You can do it. And
Do it.
Toot Sonic Warrior. Toot Game Gear Warriors.
Toot pet
4
Chow.
colors, 4 games, and it's consoles. It's coming out in October. Jesus.
Just don't give it to your children under.
Oh my god!
20.
Can you imagine if like somebody ate one of these? It's small enough to swallow.
What if they like put them in cereals, right? And then like it just got.
They'll just do like
You would call that
a hidden gem.
a hidden gem
What if
gear.
they do like the Switch games and they make them taste bad on purpose? Because wait,
Okay.
do you know about that?
I mean, that would
so you'd
discourage
like,
choking
Do you know
hazards.
about that?
Yeah, you lick the back
yeah,
of the card.
Nintendo made them taste bad on purpose, so that kids don't eat them. Like, that's kind of amazing. Sega, make the Game Gear Micro taste bad. That's all I ask now. Teddy's it's all.
I got nothing.
Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Maybe I'll cover this thing as we get more information. I don't know. Teddy, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
If you enjoyed hearing us ramble, go check out the Button Mappers.
I agree. We do great
Every
ramble.
Monday.
And we talk games.
Me, Teddy, and...
Ooh, we are planning on doing some Game
so
Gear
that's
map out
I don't know how soon it's going to be, but that's a thing.
down the road. Be patient. Every Monday we got uploads.
Me, Teddy, and Spencer. The biggest Sonic fan, Spencer.
I know. He's been absent as of late for the Sonic content, but we'll get him there.
He'll join in eventually.
Eventually.
He'll
He'll cave.
If we just do nothing with Sonic content, we kind of can force him into it.
Nothing but Sonic Timber and November. And spring.
Spring yard. The spring's already passed, though.
And Labyrinth Zone.
Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Check out the Button Mappers. Check out Teddy over on Majority. He's been doing some really good Sonic the Hedgehog content. And don't forget that we have a special thing coming out on the 7th. Whoop whoop. Premiere.
Whoop whoop. Premiere. You can watch it after the fact too. It's gonna be great. You're gonna put that on your playlist. And you're gonna put it on loop.
Going around in loop. Loop de loop.
Loop that Sonic content. Loop Sonic content. Loop Sonic content. Da-na-na-na-na.
Loop Sonic content.
Hey geeks and gamers, TurboBot90013 here. Remember to subscribe to the Turbo Zone for more content. The Arcade Overlords thank you. Stay retro. Turbo Zone.